Hello everybody and welcome back to the Crafty Monkey channel. My name is Amanda and this is Jerome. In this video I will be going through issues 1 and 2 of Daphne's Diary magazine for 2023. So I'm just going to move Jerome out of the way. So this is issue 1 of 2023 and this is issue 2 of 2023. This one arrived around about the second week of January and this one arrived last week. I am obviously behind. I didn't finish my video flip throughs of the second half of Daphne's Diary magazine for 2022. Life unfortunately got in the way, but I'm going to be back making videos soon. So we will start with the Daphne's Diary flip throughs. So I also have a new background, a slightly new filming setup, so I'm just learning the angles. So this is issue 1 of 2023. As I've said before, I get my Daphne's Diary magazine through a subscription with Unique Magazines. You can get it on a 4-issue subscription or an 8-issue subscription. So this is the first one. So you've got a nice winter cover there. Welcome page welcoming you to the magazine. There's a nice collage over here. One of the videos I'm planning on doing is sort of like a junk journal collage, paper collage. So some of these images would be useful for that. I've never done a video like that before, so it's going to be a bit of an experiment to see if it works. So it's your contents. Ways to be more sustainable in 2023. And how to help out the birds through winter. I think they did something very similar to this in the first issue of 2022. To make thyme syrup for herbal remedies against winter ailments. Daphne's Diary entry. Obviously a past Valentine's Day, but this is 10 things to do on Valentine's Day. But however, some nice images. This is a nice image. This one here as well. Yeah, I'm never parted with this section and a poem. 13 tips to improve your sleep routine. And how to make bath bombs. You can buy kits that teach you how to do this as well. I've never made bath bombs. I had to go making soap. It was quite involved even for a small kit, and I've only ever done it once. Country interior. And items you can buy from Daphne's Diary's own website. So they do a journal every year, and obviously they do a diary, notebooks, and they've always done stickers and scrapbooking paper, but then branching out into kits and letter sets and paper crafting kits. These are labels. These are not die cut. You need to cut these out. I suppose these could be used to put on the homemade bath bombs that they've taught you how to make, or the thyme syrup. These are quite nice actually. You could also cut these out and use them in, say, like a junk journal for a foundation piece to then put like a sticker over the top. Got some nice florals on the back, so you could use either side. Got different colours, and then these have got more fruit, brighter flowers. So I suppose these would go on if you were making, say, infused oils to give as gifts. We have how to do mosaic. I'm sure I did this at school, but I have a vague memory of it, but I don't remember what I made, or if I'm getting it confused with something I saw on TV, to be honest. This is how to do marbling with nail varnish. I've tried to do this before. It did not end well. I think there's a skill to it. I know it works because I've seen and watched a lot of YouTube videos where people have done it, but I couldn't get it to work. But the effect is very cool. Turning old plant pot lids into sort of decorative vases or ways to use them up for storage. Do you drink enough water? So this is a good thing if you have a bullet journal or a journal to put like a water tracker in. I did buy a glass reusable water bottle and I was pretty good about drinking from it for about 2 months. Then it kind of got put in the fridge and it only gets used occasionally, so I need to get back using that. So we have a colouring page. This is how to make felt beads. This would be quite fun actually. You have to buy a certain kind of wool. You've got to buy felting wool, but this is wet felting rather than the stabby felting. I don't really know how else to describe it, but the one where you take the wool and you stab it with a needle to make the ball. This is wet felting, where you wet the wool and you sort of clump it together and it sort of binds together. This one is obviously safer to do with children. Butter boards. I suppose this is the sort of next step on from the cheese and meat charcuterie boards, or chartreuse boards, or however you pronounce it. Got a pumpkin soup recipe. Different kind of butters. I mean, these butters would be quite useful. These recipes would be quite useful if you wanted to make, say, like a garlic bread, or a version of a garlic bread, or something like that. And then we have these napkin bands, but you could cut these off and then you could cut them down and you could use them as washi strips. They're not sticky, but you could stick them down and they would have the appearance of a washi strip. And underneath there is about pillow sprays, to help you sleep. Obviously moves on from that sleep article. This is one of the artists for the issue where they make animals out of paper. Very intricate, very they're obviously symmetrical, so I'm assuming it's done sort of very similar to the way you used to make snowflakes when you were at school. You used to fold the piece of paper up and then cut the image out like the paper dolls as well. And then it would open out and it would be symmetrical on both sides, provided you didn't cut through the seam. How to do some self-care. That's not a term I particularly like, but sort of how to look after yourself and take some time for you. Another Daphne's diary entry. How to use leftover chocolate to make Valentine's chocolates. This is about a shop that hasn't really changed much in 200 years. Still got the old-fashioned till, like clogs. This is what life was like 100 years ago in 1923. So the first talkie films came out. This was the sort of reigning fashion. The Grand Prix was the big new sport. Sort of the way to organise your clothes. What was that big programme, Organise Your Life? The Marie Kondo, everybody was doing that. Was it start of 2020? is how to make some warming winter drinks. So you've got a chai tea or chai latte. One of my favourites, a gingerbread latte. I love these. They only bring them out around Christmas though. And you can't get the gingerbread syrup either. It's really difficult to find for the other 11 months of the year. It's like the pumpkin spice one, you can only get that in October. So warm apple punch, hot chocolate with whiskey, and then this is a turmeric latte. I think I'll give that one a miss. So this is another artist. She does almost like lino printing but in reverse. So she's sort of engraving into layers of paint. So sort of like those things you used to have as a kid with the black paint over the top of the colour and you used to scratch the design in. Obviously this is a lot more complex than that. You've got some stickers for you to use in a planner. These are just quite nice stickers that you could use in a junk journal, for example. Then you have a soup recipe. And then I'm not quite sure what this is, some sort of spiced cake recipe. Yes, it's like a cardamom and pistachio sort of cake. These are die cut. These are Valentine's cards, sort of Victorian style This is a Victorian style Valentine's card, and this is sort of a modern take on it. These would be pretty cool to punch out and put in a journal because they're quite big. You can sort of see how they're meant to look here. And then another artist. This lady makes jewellery, and she makes all these flowers by hand that go on the jewellery. So these flowers are built up petal by petal, so that is small, intricate work. They also have a sort of folk art look to them, the sort of artwork here in the UK that you'd see on narrow boats and things like that. This is 4 cities in Germany, smaller cities in Germany. Not been to, I don't think I've been to these places. I have been to Germany, and we went on a coach trip there one Christmas. This was probably nearly 20 years ago, and we were there for Christmas, and we went to a German Christmas market, and then we went to this little town, this little walled town that we had to park on the outside and you had to walk in. And we were walking in, and it was all sorts of, you know, little narrow streets, and you walked into the middle, and there was a Christmas market on right in the middle. There was a big Christmas tree and a brass band playing underneath. And just as we walked into the middle, the sun was setting and it started to snow. And it almost felt like you were on a film set. And I can't remember the name of this place. I can't find it on a map. I know I went there. I have photographs to prove it. But it almost felt like a little toy town, almost like a fantasy town. But it was a lovely place. I remember having, you know, hot chocolate from the German markets and places like that. It was sort of similar vibes to this, but I don't think it was this place. So this is a new feature this year. They're doing a page from a reader's diary. You spot the difference. This is a B&B you can stay in Italy. That view down. So this is to make Valentine's gifts, but you could make these gifts. We've got Mother's Day coming up in the UK soon, because Mother's Day is in March in the UK. So you could sort of adapt some of these into Mother's Day gifts. Entry from Daphne's diary. How to update your wardrobe and save money at the same time. Your drawing prompt for the issue. Letters to Daphne. Then how to make a paper wreath from old book pages. I said wreaths are still really popular. They've been popular in home decor now for 18 months or so, and people keep coming up with slightly different variations on the theme. To turn these clouds into a mobile. These are not die cut, so you would need to cut these out. Again, these would be nice to use in a journal if you didn't want to make the mobile. And there is a poster. It is star signs. There's me. Then underneath it's sort of a how do you like your coffee, and so you can learn about different coffees that you can get from coffee shops. Another hotel you can stay in. This one is in Germany. Another Daphne's diary entry. A sort of cute artwork for the issue. So we have an ice skating goose carrying a mouse. I quite like that. I think that's quite cute. So this is some sort of New Year's resolutions. It's coming up to the end of February now, so if you've kept your New Year's resolution going, good for you. If not, don't worry about it. How to make your own cheese. And then a biking tour through the Netherlands. A poem. Sort of a look inside the Daphne's Diary Journal for 2023. This is how to turn old cups and saucers into, say, vases or cake stands, things like that. And then this is papers that gift wrap for the homemade chocolate that's further back in the issue. Again, you could just cut these out, cut down the label, and just use these as papers because they're double-sided. And then the books for the issue. Now, they used to just sort of concentrate on one book, but they've done sort of 3 different types of books in this one. So you've got a novel, you've got like a craft book, and a lifestyle book. So you've got Nicholas Sparks' book. I've never read one of his books, but I have seen The Notebook, and I cry every single time. That's all. Then a sort of how to make felt flowers, and then a sort of, you know, how to organise your home sort of book. Shop, and then that's that page. So that's issue 1. And this is issue 2. So this arrived last week. I can't even remember what date it is. It arrived around about Valentine's Day or just after. So this is going to be more spring themed. So got bunnies and chicks and eggs on the first page. Got the page contents. This is an old-fashioned candle makers. Assuming they use like the old dip method of candles to build up the layers. And then tips about spring cleaning and your Daphne's diary entry. So this is the first artist for the issue. So we've got these sort of very intricate, I think they're a combination of porcelain and cloth sort of dolls, sort of like they're almost like the Victorian dolls. So these are little Easter boxes. These are not, you need to cut these out. Two different ones. So this is something that's probably very relevant at the moment. So 9 tips to save on your shopping. Because the price, I'm not going to get into it on here, but the price of food in the UK at the moment is astronomical. How to decorate a table for Easter, and what sort of things to put on as like an Easter spread. So you've got sandwiches and Easter biscuits, quiche, raspberry brownies. So these must be like sweet bread. So it's, you take bread, but you sort of, I suppose it's sort of almost like a French toast. And I generally also used to do a donut toast, which, you know, you use bread and you put cinnamon sugar on it, and it turned it into a dessert. Chocolate croissant wreaths, and then you've got like a savoury version. So this is a cross stitch section. So this lady takes paper and perforates it, and then cross stitches sort of images that are relevant to the passage onto the paper. This is quite difficult to do because obviously paper tears really easily. You can get special paper that you can do this with. If you're going to build up sort of almost like 3D houses, cross-stitch 3D houses and things like that. But obviously this, she obviously perforates it herself to sort of match it with the designs. Lady that is a doll doctor. She repairs old dolls. I remember a section on a kids' TV programme from the 90s having a doll doctor. They used to have to take the toys to the doll doctor. Sort of a spring clean for your mind, so mindfulness, things like that. Another Daphne's diary entry. Ways to plant seeds. This is one we used to do a lot in the UK as kids. You plant seeds, normally cress. You draw a little face on the shell, it would grow up and it would look like hair. But this is a good one to do with kids. I've got some sort of washi strips that are Easter themed. Here being used to decorate plastic eggs on presents. One of the hotels or guest houses you can visit. So a section about Art Deco, so the Art Deco look, the Art Deco movement. Some nice images here. These are egg cups. They look like flowers. These are made from crepe paper. So sort of a section on different types of wallpaper, different styles. Again, there's some nice images here that you can cut out. This is where you can order Daphne's Diary magazine from. So tips for writing a good letter, and then they actually give you some letter paper. You've got a cute little bear down here. If you get the next reference, you like the same programs. Maybe this looks like Trinket from Critical Role. So this is one of the other artists. She makes these figurines. I think they're made out of papier mâché, I think. Can't quite tell. Sort of wire apertures, and then I think maybe clay and papier mâché over the top just to get this effect. They're very cool. They kind of have particularly they kind of have a slight Wes Anderson look to them. Letters to Daphne, and then a section about the Tulip Festival, which takes place in the Lands. There used to be a Tulip Festival here in Birmingham. Now, this was not when. Oh, actually, this is in Switzerland. This is no, this was a long time ago when my mum was little. But they used to have a Tulip Festival in Birmingham in a place called Cannon Hill Park, and all of these vendors used to come over and they used to do all tulip floats and things like that. I have seen, my granddad did take some pictures of it when my mum was little, and I have seen the pictures, but it stopped in the late 50s, early 60s. Which is a shame because it would be quite fun. So doing fruit stamping, probably everybody remembers doing this from school. It was normally a potato, and you carve a picture into a potato and do prints with it. So this is about the alternative to Venice. It's obviously a lot quieter. So this is how to make handmade paper. This is not something I've ever done. It looks straightforward, but I imagine it's probably a lot more complicated than you think. I know you need a sieve, but you have to have a special kind. It has to be quite a close sieve to get the paper pulp to sit. This diary entry. This is people who have sort of converted their garden shed. Never parting with this, and a poem. And how to make a tassel, I'm going to say tassel / pom-pom bird. And then violet wreaths. This is using actual flowers, not dried flowers. To make bunting. Again, these are silk flowers, these ones. Or oh no, they're fresh flowers. I thought they were silk flowers. Those are fresh flowers. To decorate eggs. Putting dried flowers into pitch frame. I've seen these. You can buy stuff like this in places like Primark and H&M Home and things like that. You can buy frames already done like this. To wrap a napkin around an egg to make it look like a bunny. Then Easter bread. Sort of reminds me of a Chelsea bun almost, but long, sort of like a plaited loaf. Daphne's diary entry. issue, so we've got a savoury tarts, that's sort of like an egg quiche, and then these biscuits that look like eggs but they're made with lemon fondant. We've got these chickens that you push out and they sit over glass, sort of like a glass marker. So the Cherry Blossom Festival in Japan, that will be starting, I think it starts middle to end of March. Blossom here in the UK used to start in May, but it's been coming earlier and earlier every year. Different types of cherry blossoms. Spot the difference. And a page from a reader's diary. All about different kinds of chickens. If this was, you wanted to keep chickens, this might be useful. So this is a sort of wild sensory garden. Poster, and then you've got these postcards, sort of two different themes. And we've got the poster, which I can't fold out the whole way because they've now started perforating it in, but it's an Easter poster. So this, they used to be stuck in, but now they're go tear the perforation off down the edge. We've got a colouring page, which is an image that was on the cherry blossom page, the sakura page. So this is how to sort of dye eggs with natural dyes for Easter. I remember doing something like this with food colouring and popping it into a glass. But this is obviously, the different colours you can get from different products. Brilliant. Sort of what seeds to start planting. How to use up leftovers from your fridge. These can be cut out and turned into these sort of egg decorations that you can hang from a tree. It's very trendy to do themed trees now, so people have you have a Christmas tree, but then they'll leave it up and do a Valentine's tree, then an Easter tree, and a Halloween tree. It's too much hassle just getting the tree out for Christmas. And they keep swapping all the decorations around. These are nice papers though. If you didn't want to use the eggs, you could take out these sections. They're double-sided. And these are the books for the issue. So this is sort of like the cookbook. And then this is the novel. And then this is a sort of a lifestyle book about the faded sort of glamorous hotels from sort of Victorian era in British seaside towns. And your next issue is available, and I think that's a piece that's come out of the die cut chicken. And back here, and that's the back of the issue. So that was just a quick flip through of issues 1 and 2 of Daphne's Diary magazine for 2023. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.